So there's a really popular quote that goes, winners never quit and quitters never win. And one of the reasons why I really love mixed martial arts is because it's an amazing sport where you get to see this idea played out in real life. And it's interesting because you could really see like the body language and just the energy of an individual and how that could be taken away by another individual. And it's a very compelling thing to see. And to some degree, like a mixed martial arts fight is a metaphor for life. Like I don't think many of us have ever been inside a ring or an octagon and like participated in a fight, but you could relate to the emotions of confronting something that you're scared of and being pushed to your very limits and seeing if are you gonna quit and back down and give into your emotional state and panic, or are you gonna be calm, cool, collected, stick to your game plan, listen to your coaches, and figure out a way to win. And that's really like the champion's mentality. And I think that's another cool thing about the sport is because you see the fighter inside the ring or the octagon and they're the only ones that could really fight the fight. But behind the scenes, they have an entire crew together. They have coaches, they have like a head coach and then they have a striking coach and a wrestling coach and a jiu-jitsu coach and then they have training partners and they have a manager and their family to support them emotionally and their friends. So there's all this background support, but at the end of the day, that's the main fighter's responsibility is to show up for themselves each and every day, to train, to have their nutrition in order, show up in the ring or the octagon on the night of the fight, being in the best present moment and just execute everything they put like the past 6 months into. And it's a very inspirational thing to watch. And one of the things I really enjoy is seeing the mentality of the fighters either way, when they win or they lose, but particularly when they lose, because some fighters, they get into a victim mentality and they blame their coaches and they blame other people or the ref or whatever. And then there's other people who have a championship mentality and then they always figure out a way to win and make it a benefit for them. And the perfect example is Conor McGregor when he first received his loss in the UFC. He was like a superstar that was on the top of his game, and he was really popular and he was the champion and making tons of money. And he got his first loss, and it was a pretty devastating fashion. He got punched in the face and choked out in the second round. And his mentality after the fight, when he was interviewed, he said, my coaches and I always say we're either winning or we're learning. And I was like, wow, how could you even think about yourself as a loser after you just got punched in the face and knocked out in front of millions of people? But having that mentality, it makes you an automatic winner because you're either winning or something, or you're gaining something that will make you better next time. So it has that mentality of I'm not quitting. This is not the end of the road. This is just a temporary setback, but I'm going to learn and get better from it. And I was like, wow, that's just really amazing. And, I really kept this mentality with me because I've had moments in my life where I definitely wanted to quit and give up. And I know I've always had this special thing with music, and it was hard for me to really identify early in my life. So, I just pursued this path of playing in musical instruments, playing in bands and performing, because whenever someone has a gift with music, then that's kind of what it's automatically associated with, or some kind of performing art, right? You're a dancer or choreographer or musician. Those are usually the avenues people follow some kind of career or path with music. But I knew there was something special in me because I would go to shows and concerts and raves, and I would observe people, and just the way they were connecting with the music just felt a little bit off. It was almost like they were more into the social scene, or they were more into glamorizing the band or the star on stage. And over time I noticed this thing where I would just ignore all that and I would just really connect with the music and I was there for the music truly. That was my true desire, was just seeing how this magical entity would relate with me and emotionally stir me, and how I would interact in that way. And over time, people I noticed that people were very attracted to like the energy I was putting out when I was at these shows, and I was just in my groove, in my flow, kind of like in my own little bubble. And then I had people come up to me and like they'd be like, "Wow, like it's really amazing that like I wish I could dance like you, or I wish I could really, enjoy the music the way you do." And even there was this one occurrence where I went to this event because Lights was playing. Lights was an artist I really liked at the time. I saw her maybe 2 times at that point, and she was doing a corporate event at this major club in Toronto, and she was on stage playing her music, but people were they were maybe like 10 feet back, standing at table, like they were standing and they just were holding their drinks and they're just kind of like la la la. That's like watching from a far distance, and I'm like, this is like weird. So I just walked right up to the stage, and I'm like, this is cool. Like I get to see Lights right in front of me. Like she's like right there, and I was just kind of jamming out and just like having a good time and just like singing along to her songs and stuff. And slowly but surely, like everyone else kind of came to the stage and like was kind of got more into it as well. And in between the songs, this girl that was standing beside me, she turned to me and she said, "Thank you for stepping up to that stage, because I'm really enjoying myself in this moment. So like, and I don't think I would have done this if you haven't taken that, weren't the first person to step up to the stage." I'm like, okay, cool, that's awesome. And I really enjoyed that and was able to be the catalyst for this connection between the music and the artist and the people there. And I noticed that was more of a prevalent thing, particularly when I started going to graves and dances, and people were just like, they would, and I actually did this experiment where I would walk into a room and see how people were dancing, and the energy seemed kind of flat, and everyone just kind of like, looking around and chatting with their friends and just hanging out. And then I would just pick a spot on the dance floor and just get into my groove, kind of close my eyes a little bit, like not pay attention to what's going on, and just kind of do my thing. And then I would open my eyes and I would look around like, whoa, like the energy is like completely different. Like everyone just really grooving. Like everyone's just like much more into the energy of the music. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. Like it's amazing that I was able to see one thing, and notice that, close my eyes, get into my own little bubble, get into my groove, feel that energy, and like put that outwards. Not in, like in a showy performance kind of way, but just because like the virtue of me moving to the music the way that I want to, that in a way that felt good. And then step back into the space and be like, wow, this like place has been transformed. It's like it's a different thing. And that's when I really began to know this like this gift or this thing that I have with music. And it was really hard for me to formulate like how could I present it in an offering or present it in some kind of career thing. And it took many years of trial and error and figuring out and trying one thing and failing and then stepping away from it, saying like, okay, maybe I'm not meant for this, or this is a stupid idea, that's not going to work. But over time I kept that like fighter's mentality, like Conor McGregor, of like either winning or learning. And more recently, this fighter, Rose Namajunas, who's my favorite like female champion, she's such a awesome human being. And she won the championship for the second time this past Saturday. And in an interview, she said, I shocked the world again, but it was God, like it was my faith in God that pulled me through this. And the element of faith combined with like the winner's mentality, I think, is what is like a very powerful combination. And that's something I wanna share and offer and bring into these like music medicine classes. And I want to take it like a level further, because I think self-care is a really important thing. And this past November, I was in a really sticky situation. I just got out of this relationship that was really hard to step out of. And I was isolated, and COVID happened, and the winter was happening, and I was just in a really tough spot. I was like drinking like every day and like really numbing out my emotions. But again, I was like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. Like I'm going to either like find a way to win, or just continuously learn. And I created this system called the Real Game of Life, where I was able to establish, my self-care practices and notice like the rules that I was playing this game in, and then figuring out a way to bend those rules so I could have the self-care practice that I really, really wanted. So I recognized that, and then I eventually used that to create music medicine. And now I want to create something else that involves all of this combined together, and it's called the Self-Care Symposium. And it's a 6-week container that will be starting on May 10th, and in that I will reveal and share the real Game of Life system, and also have a support community around it, like one-on-one sessions and whatnot. And yeah, I just want a container with a community that builds a community of committed individuals who really want to step up their game and have that self-care regimen implemented into like a really strong daily practice, and it becomes a habit where you're prioritizing what you need to do and really just kind of living the lifestyle of these fighters, like day in day out, just training and focusing on what they need to do to be the best person they can so they could show up and perform at their best. And I think if we were to take that mentality and apply it to self-care, and just every single day self-care, then we could show up to be the best people we can for ourselves and for the people around us. So if this resonates with you and you're interested and you want to get more information, send me an email in the description box below, or you could book a consult call using the Calendly link below. And yeah, I'll be excited. I'm really excited to connect with people and see who wants to step into this container and be on this journey. So thanks for listening, and we'll catch you soon. Peace.